After studying this module, we shall be able to describe the concept of physical distribution, learn about the various functions of physical distribution, describe the concept, importance, and objectives of logistics, and understand the concept of supply chain management.
So, students, after the products have been made, after you have set up on the price and you have had your promotional policies, now it's the time for the physical distribution of the goods. The goods have actually to be brought and made available to the consumers. Physical distribution, or the fourth P, the strategy that we have in the elements of market mix, is related to a group of activities associated with the supply of finished products from the production to the consumer. Physical distribution considers many sales distribution channels such as the wholesalers and the retailers, and it is one of the very critical areas which can influence a firm's success into the marketplace. It's not just about making the product available to the consumer physically. The physical distribution also includes the activities such as customer service, inventories, materials management, packing, order processing, transportation, and logistics. Physical distribution includes the movement of the goods from the point of origin. For instance, whenever you purchase anything, the raw material is originated at a particular place. Right from the origin to the final consumption, that is the place where it is being consumed, the flow of the products has to be optimized. It's a major cost component and hence can influence the profitability of the firm. Physical distribution activities include order processing, warehousing, material handling, transportation, and inventory control. The classroom definitions of physical distribution started coming up as early as 1978 when Charles A. Taft defined physical distribution as a management of movement, inventory control, protection, and storage of raw material, and also the processed or the finished goods up to the production line. In the present times, the National Council for Physical Distribution Management defines physical distribution as a broad range of activities concerned with efficient movement of finished goods, products from the end of the production line to the consumer, and in some cases includes the movement of the raw material from the source of supply to the beginning of the production line. These activities include freight, transportation, warehousing, material handling, protective packaging, inventory control, plant and warehouse site selection, order processing, market forecasting, and customer service. As you can very well appreciate, this definition is very inclusive in nature and explains very explicitly the concept of physical distribution and also covers all the activities and the functions which come within its purview. To sum up, it can be said that physical distribution basically gets on 7 rights. You see, the product, if it has to be consumed, it has to be the right product. If the right product is not available, then probably your entire marketing strategy does not work well. Not only the right product has to be available, the product also has to be available in the right quantity. If it is inadequate, then again the customers will remain dissatisfied and may ultimately shift over to other substitutes. Besides being in right quantity, the product also has to be in the right condition. The product must be packed properly, the product must not be damaged by the time it comes, and the product must be in the consumable or the workable condition when it is into the hands of the consumers. The next right is the right time. Anything that is not done at a right time is as good as not being done at all. So the product has to be available also at the right time and at the right place for the right consumer at the right cost. So we have 7 rights: the right product, the right quantity, the right condition, the right time, right place, to the right customer, and also at the right cost. You can't price the product unreasonably high just because you're getting all other six rights correctly. Physical distribution is sometimes used synonymously with logistics and even confused with supply chain management. Some of the other synonyms of physical distribution are the logistics and the supply chain management. Although they seem similar in terms of their activities, but theoretically there are differences between them. Logistics involves receiving and processing of orders, releasing of goods from the inventory, transportation of finished goods to the ultimate consumers while trying to achieve the maximum customer satisfaction within the distribution channel. Supply chain management is a part of logistics and is concerned with the supply of raw material and the finished goods.
Physical distribution is essentially a determinant of the customer service level, as an inefficient physical distribution may lead to a firm losing customers and markets. There are some products which are seasonal in nature. In such cases, either production is continuous but demand is seasonal, or demand is continuous but production is seasonal. In all such cases, physical distribution acquires additional importance. The following are the functions of physical distribution job: planning the total physical distribution system, in-plant warehousing, transportation, field warehousing, receiving, handling, and secondary transportation, that is, secondary handling and sub-distribution of product. A system is a set of components or activities that interact with each other. A car engine is a system. If any part malfunctions, the performance of the whole engine suffers. In a distribution system, there are interrelated activities that affect customer service and the cost of providing it. These are customer service, order processing, inventory management, warehousing, transportation, distribution inventory, materials handling, and protective packaging. Customer service. The customer service function is a strategically designed standard for consumer satisfaction which the business intends to provide its customers. Once customer service standards are set, the physical distribution system is then designed to ensure customer satisfaction. For example, a customer satisfaction approach for the ready-made garments business may be that 75% of all custom garments are delivered to the customer within 3 working days or 72 hours of ordering. An additional approach might include that 95% of custom garments be delivered to the customer within 4 working days or 96 hours of purchase. Once these customer service standards are set, the physical distribution system is then designed to attain these goals. Order processing. Order processing is a function designed to take customer orders and its execution as per customer specifications. The business is concerned with this function because it directly relates to the service to be provided to the customer, thus attaining customer service goals. The efficiency of the order processing system can save business from incurring heavy costs in other functions such as transportation or inventory control. For example, if the apparel business has an error in the processing of a customer order, the business has to turn to premium transportation modes such as next day air or overnight mode to meet the customer service standards set out. This will increase the transportation cost. Order processing represents a time element in delivery, which is an important element of customer service. For this, many intermediaries are involved in the movement of goods, and good communication is therefore essential to a successful distribution system. Inventory levels also affect customer satisfaction. So, inventory management deals with balancing the cost of maintaining additional products on hand against the risk of not having those items when the customer wants them, that is, the cost of lost sales. This task has become more complex as firms have gradually lowered inventory levels. The challenge in this situation is to manage the rest of the logistics system to accommodate the lack of inventory so that customer service does not suffer. However, all of the interest in reducing inventories notwithstanding, the fact remains that inventory management is still necessary for serving customers in many markets. To deal with such a situation, companies have started following the just in time or JIT logistics system. With the help of this system, now new stock arrives at a factory or retail outlet exactly when needed rather than being stored in the inventory until being used. Warehousing. Storage and warehousing activities account for nearly 20% of the firm's total physical distribution costs. There is a distinction between storage and warehousing. Storage implies simply holding and preserving products for a period of time. In contrast, warehousing adds more functions, including accumulating, allocating, assorting, and readying goods for reshipping to other locations. The major objective in managing the warehousing function is to provide the desired level of customer service at the lowest total physical distribution cost. Warehouses are used to store inventory. The management of warehouses makes decisions on site selection, number of distribution centers in the system, layout, and methods of receiving, storing, and retrieving goods. Warehouses can be private or public. Private warehouses are owned or leased by producers or middlemen to handle their own inventories and physical distribution functions. Public warehouses are owned and operated by independent bodies who rent space and provide materials handling, transportation, and other services for a fee to customers. Transport is the means to carry goods from one place to another. It creates place utility of goods. Transportation in marketing becomes necessary because goods are not used in the place of production and need to be carried thousands of miles away for selling. The major transportation modes or mechanisms of moving freight include railroads, motor carriers, airlines, pipelines, and water carriers. Transportation costs usually account for the largest share of all physical distribution costs, often exceeding one-third of the total physical distribution cost. The selection criteria to compare transportation modes is based on speed of delivery, relative cost, reliability of delivery, range of transporting capabilities, and the ability to reach geographically distributed markets, etc. The major transportation modes or mechanisms of moving freight include A. Roadways. There are different categories of road transport. To deliver products to remote areas, road transportation is the best mode. B. Railways. Railways are one of the cheapest means of transport, covering long distances and carrying heavier types of goods. C. Waterways. It was used for transportation of bulky goods and low-grade goods in the olden days, but now it is used for all kinds of goods. D. Airways. The airway transport passengers, mail, and also goods. It is helpful in times of emergencies like floods, earthquakes, and war. E. Pipelines. For the transportation of gas, and liquid commodities like crude oil, petroleum, etc., pipelines are used. Roadways. It is the oldest system of transport. There are different categories of road transport. To deliver any product to remote areas, road transportation is the best mode. The advantages of road transport are that it is more flexible than any other mode of transportation, less costly than railways or airways, and it has got a wider coverage. Motor transport has minimum handling in loading and unloading operations. The disadvantages are that it is unsuitable for very long distance, it cannot carry bulky goods, and it moves at a lesser speed than railways and airways. Railways. Railways are one of the cheapest means of transport. It covers long distances and carries heavy goods. The advantages of railways are that it is a cheaper mode of transportation for heavy goods, it is suitable for bulky goods, and it is convenient for long distance travel. The disadvantages are railways have fixed routes and it cannot make door to door delivery. It is costly for a short distance and it is inconvenient for remote areas. Waterways. It is the cheapest mode of transportation. It was used for transportation of bulky goods and low grade goods in the olden days, but now it is used for all kinds of goods. The advantages of this medium are that it is the cheapest mode of transportation, it carries bulky goods, it is safer to transport glassware, scientific instruments, and chemicals. But the disadvantages are that it has very low speed and it serves limited areas. Airways. Airways transport passenger goods and mail. It is helpful in times of emergencies like floods, earthquakes, and war. Its advantages are that it is the fastest means of transport and it is safe for goods to be transported by airways. It is more suitable for perishable and expensive goods. The disadvantages are that it is a costly mode of transportation. It cannot serve all areas and it has got limited carrying capacity. Pipelines. For the transportation of gas and liquid commodities like crude oil and petroleum, pipelines are used. Distribution inventory includes all finished goods inventory at any point in the distribution system. In cost terms, it is the second most important item in distribution, accounting for about 25 to 30% of the cost of distribution. Inventories create time value by placing the product close to the customer. Distribution centers storing inventory are large, single story automated warehouses designed primarily for optimizing efficiency in order processing and merchandise handling. Products moved through distribution centers generally are stored only for short periods of time. Materials handling is the movement and storage of goods inside the distribution center. The type of materials handling equipment used affects the efficiency and cost of operating the distribution center. Proper material handling helps in decreasing the damage, maintaining the quality of storage, facilitating order processing, and moving the right goods at the right time to make them available to the right customers. Materials handling represents a capital cost, and a trade off exists between this capital cost and the operating costs of the distribution center. Protective packaging. The basic role of packaging in any industrial organization is to carry the goods safely through a distribution system to the customer. Goods moving in a distribution system must be contained, protected, and identified. There are usually at least three levels of packaging required in a distribution system: primary package, shipping container, and unit load. In addition, goods are moved and stored in packages and must fit into the dimension of the storage spaces and the transportation vehicles.
Now let us study the meaning of logistics. Logistics is the management of flow of resources between the point of origin and the point of destination in order to meet the requirements of the customers. The resources managed in logistics include physical items such as food material, equipment, and liquids, as well as abstract items such as information, particles, and energy. The logistics of physical items usually involves integration of information flow, material handling, production, packaging, inventory, transportation, warehousing, and often security. As per Council for Logistics Management, the definition of logistics is the process of planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient, effective flow of the storage of goods, services, and related information from the point of origin to the point of consumption for the purpose of confronting to the consumer requirements.
Logistics is important for business firms because it creates value for customers, suppliers of the firm, and value for the firm's stakeholders. In logistics, value is expressed in terms of time and place. Products and services have little or no value unless they are provided to the customers when, time, and where, place they wish to consume them. In many firms throughout the world, logistics has become an increasingly important value adding process for a number of reasons. Let us now move on to the categories of logistics. It can be categorized into business logistics, military logistics, event logistics, and service logistics. Business logistics. Business logistics is that part of the supply chain process which is associated with planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient flow and storage of goods and services from the point of origin to the point of use or consumption. Military logistics, the design and integration of all aspects of support for the operational capacity of the military forces and their equipment to ensure readiness, reliability, and efficiency. Event logistics. Event logistics is a group of network of activities, facilities, and personnel that are required to organize, schedule, and deploy the resources for an event to take place. Service logistics. Service logistics is related to the acquisition, scheduling, and management of the facilities, personnel, and material so as to support and sustain a service operation. Logistics management is a process of planning, executing, and controlling the efficient, effective flow and storage of goods and services and related information from point of origin to point of consumption for the purpose of conforming to customer requirement. Now let us learn about the objectives of logistics management. Customer service. The goal of an organization is to provide its customers an outstanding service which can be achieved with the ability of the organization to handle its transportation and logistics needs in an efficient manner so that it enhances the logistic firm's reputation in the industry. Industry awareness. A logistics firm must earn a reputation in the industry for quality service to gain an edge in the competitive industry by becoming knowledgeable in the details of transporting and warehousing of a specific product or business. Constant improvement. The continuous improvement system, TQM, total quality management, can be used to constantly seek ways to reduce costs, eliminate inefficiencies, and improve customer service. Reduce cost of operations. Reducing the cost of operations is a long term goal for a logistics company. Efficient management of operations can lead to a reduction of the transport and warehousing costs and may result in increase in profits for the company that are earned from every client. A supply chain consists of various stages by which the conversion of raw material into final products and its delivery to end consumers happens. It not only includes suppliers and manufacturers, but also the distributors, transporters, retailers, and finally customers. In every organization, it includes several important functions, that is, order management, planning, shop floor operations, etc. A supply chain comprises of numerous stages which are undertaken during the conversion of raw material into final products and its delivery to end consumers. Supply chain is the approach to regulate the flow of material, information, and finance.
Now let's try to study supply chain. Supply chain begins with the need of the customers. With its next destination, it starts from the need of the customers and ends up ultimately reaching back to the customers. Retail outlets stock up the items supplied to them by the distributors in the form of their inventories on their shelves. The distributors get the supply from the warehouses. In addition to the concepts of physical distribution management and the logistics which we have studied, another emerging concept is the concept of supply chain management. Supply chain management is basically an end to end understanding of the flow of goods, services, ideas, right from their point of origin to the point of consumption. Let us take the case of, say, I'm wearing this coat. This coat is the final product which I'm wearing. It started as a cotton at some place where it was grown. After this, it was harvested, sold into the agricultural markets. Then cotton came to a firm where it was made into a thread. Then from the thread, it became a cloth. Then from a cloth, it came into the retail shops from where I purchased it. Then I gave it to a tailor. And then from the tailor, it came out as a finished product into my hands. Now, all these stages, the activities which happen at them, the costs which are incurred at each of the stages, the effort that is made to do the processing of each of the stages, the flow of information which happens from one stage to another stage, the physical movement of the goods from one stage to another stage, which not only transforms its form, it transforms its shape, it transforms its utilities, entails large number of operations from a large number of people. So, the right product which has to come to the right consumer at a right place at the right cost is not just because it has been done at a last stage, it is an integrated process, and this process is understood as a supply chain nowadays. Supply chain would include the inflow and outflow of material, information, funds, promotions, etc., etc. So, everybody within this stage is engaged in the activities of the physical flow of the goods, the flow of information, the flow of money, the origin of demands, etc., etc. If there is any bottleneck at any stage within this entire supply chain, we'll not have the right product available to the right consumer at a right time in the right form at a right price. Supply chain management is an all-encompassing concept of the planning and management of all the activities related to logistics and physical distribution. It also includes coordination and collaboration with the channel partners, who can be suppliers, who can be intermediaries, who can be third-party service providers, and the customers. In addition to this, supply chain integrates the supply and demand management within and across the firms. Let us relearn what we have learned earlier. We have learned the concepts of physical distribution, logistics, and supply chain. And it's important to learn the differences between these three concepts. Physical distribution basically is about the activity of physical movement of the goods from the manufacturer stage across the production lines, across the marketing intermediaries, finally to the consumers. The physical distribution channels contribute to this physical movement and ultimately help in making the product available to the consumer. As the marketing progressed, as the competition increased, the role of marketeers did not confine to just physical availability of the goods and services, but also included a lot of value addition activities which had to be done. For example, the customer service, the inventory management, the packing, order processing, etc. So all these concepts, when they were added into the physical movement of the goods, that changed the whole gamut of the approach towards physical distribution, and we had a new concept called logistics. And in today's world, when we find the coordination between various stages happening, the role of logistics does not confine only to the flow of the information, funds, promotion, and the material, but it's all encompassing right from the point of origin to the point of final consumption. The physical distribution basically works as a system and its efficiency is not dependent upon only a few activities that are being done, but is an outcome of an integrated set of activities which are done right from the origin of the goods up to the final consumption. Hence, nowadays we have the concept of supply chain, and supply chain includes all the activities right from the product where it is made to it is finally consumed, along with the activities of value addition such as customer service, order processing, inventory management, warehousing, transportation, distribution, material handling, packaging, etc. So, in the end, I would like to say that all other strategies, they can be changed in short run, but the infrastructure, the channels that you have for physical distribution, the firm which develops over a period of time cannot be changed in short run and is a very big influencer of the overall profitability of a firm and its competitiveness into the marketplace.